But inside magic, we're always told plots have to be simple. You ought to be able to describe it in one sentence. Vernon often said this. A plot should be able to be said in one sentence. 4 coins go through a table. A card comes to the top of the deck. But that's a very limiting way of looking at material, at repertoire. Some of the most wonderful effects cannot possibly be described in one sentence clearly. Some of my favorite effects, Tommy Wonder's ring watch wallet cannot be reduced to a simple, well, there's this robbing premise, and so the watch is removed and the ring and some money from a wallet, and the items are placed into an envelope, but the wallet's in full view, and then the items vanish, but then they go back. It's a wonderful trick. Visually, it's so clear and perfect and takes 2 minutes, but it would take you 2 minutes just to tell what happened. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Well, this led me to a really great realization that maybe your listeners will find helpful, which is this. A presentation has to add clarity to an effect and not take away from it. And in the case of Hitchcock, it's a good example, I believe, of where the premise, my sharing things about Hitchcock and what happens, actually makes the plot easier to follow. If you did Hitchcock and didn't talk about what I talk about and didn't replace it like you have with something that speaks to your humanity or your interests, if you just say, okay, so all 4 of you have picked a card, now put them back in the deck, and now 4 corners are missing, but that card I tore up at the beginning, those corners now match the card. The effect is totally confusing. It's a mess. But you put the presentation on it, and it's smooth, and each phase is logical, and each phase explains and makes clear the next one so that the whole thing comes together. So that's a lesson in and of itself, but here's the real lesson of all of that. Most magicians overpresent their material. Most presentations weaken magic. It's a sad but true fact. I mean, we all know that it's, the magician who narrates his tricks, and then it comes to the top, and then it goes in the middle, and now it's on top again. We think of that as artless. But what's worse, that and just like believing in yourself can make you rise to the top of the corporate field, that card, that's terrible, right? That's artless and schmaltzy and terrible. So there's an example where me putting something on top of a trick isn't helping the clarity of the effect. So when I'm working with magicians, I'm always pushing for them to really ask themselves, is your presentation truly adding to the clarity of the effect and the enjoyment of the effect, or is it getting in the way? Because there is nothing wrong with presenting things minimally or without some deeper meaning.